Addiction is a spiritual stronghold within which sin predominates. Now, it is spiritual because of sin. Sin is a spiritual phenomenon, not a medical, psychological, or sociological condition. It is a stronghold because it controls prepotently. In simple language, it's got you. It has a strong hold on you, and it has the capacity to enslave and control your thoughts, your words, and your actions. Every addictive behavior, if you think about it, is also sinful. Whether it be drunkenness, using illegal drugs, overeating, pornography, adultery, gambling, all are sins in the Bible. Habitual sin possesses an enslaving characteristic, and that's what people are dealing with, the effects of habitual sin. Jesus made an amazing statement in John 8:34. He said, "Everyone who commits sin is the slave of sin." Commits in this verse is what we call a present tense verb in Greek. You can think of it as a continuous tense verb. It carries the idea of a continual action. So Jesus is not talking about the occasional white lie. He's talking about sin that is committed repeatedly. In other words, you do that thing often enough, and sooner or later, it's got you. It could be gossip. It could be greed. It could be materialism, profanity, sarcasm, anger, abusive speech. Because of the nature of sin, and because its nature, in fact, is that it enslaves, if you do it often enough, it will ultimately become a dominating influence in your life. So sin enslaves. But to make matters worse, not only does sin enslave, but sin controls. Romans 6:12 says, "Do not let sin reign in your mortal body so that you obey its lusts." Lusts meaning desires. To let sin reign means to permit it to exist habitually in your life. This verse is saying, if you do that, you will be controlled by a desire that's not even your own. It's the desire of sin, sin that lives within you. Now, this is a fairly complex subject that will be explained a little bit more in our next session. But for now, simply recognize that not only does sin enslave, but sin controls. So you see, sin enslaves you, controls you, takes you hostage, and makes you its prisoner. Any attempt to help someone find true and lasting freedom from addiction, I believe, will likely fail unless primary attention is given to the enslaving and controlling effects of sin. In fact, attempts to make progress in other areas of life, such as relationships, work, emotional problems, spiritual issues, will almost never succeed unless and until the addictive behavior goes. The addiction will sabotage it every time.